Hello and welcome back to NoBS. Today we return to talking about another one of the worst congresswomen in our country and one of the biggest America haters out there, none other than Ilhan Omar. Yes, this congresswoman from Minnesota who actually covers some of the area that was involved in that very, very terrible arrest gone wrong in Minneapolis. Well, Ilhan Omar has been speaking up and talking a lot of crap lately, and mostly it's her bashing America. She seems to not like this country, which is rather odd since she moved here from a much worse country and she came here for a better life and America embraced her. She's lived here now for many years. She has family here. She became a citizen, I believe, and now she's a congresswoman getting paid fat money just to sit around and complain and kind of vote for things once in a while. She has like an easy, cushy congresswoman job, and she's still complaining. She still hates this country. She still talks trash about us every day, which again is rather odd since she chose to move here for a better life, and she's gotten a better life. She's been handed all this great success, but she still bashes us, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about a video that recently came out of her speaking about dismantling the U.S. That's right. We're actually going a step further and talking about her kind of wanting to break down our whole system and just whatever, I guess, restart the country. Does she want to make this country like her old country? I don't know why you'd want to make your country like a place that you fled for your life and you guys wanted to get out of. You were in this terrible place in Africa, and now you come here and you want to make America like Africa. It doesn't make sense to me, but that's what we're dealing with, and that's what we have to talk about today. This tweet has more details. It says, "This moment from Ilhan Omar is bonkers," and I have to agree. It's rather interesting, rather crazy. So let's go ahead and check out the video.
We must recognize that these systems of oppression are linked. As long as our economy and political systems prioritize profit without considering who is profiting, who is being shut out, we will perpetuate this inequality.
Okay, I'm not really sure what inequality she's talking about. I'm not sure what unfair things she's talking about. I think she's maybe talking about income or talking about, I don't know, oppression. She says oppression and equality, and it's just, to me, it sounds like a lot of buzzwords, and it sounds like someone who doesn't really know what they're talking about. I'm not trying to shame her. Like, I'm fine with people moving toward this country. If you guys want to come join America and get in on this, that's great. But if you come from somewhere else and then you bash on us the whole time, and then you also want to take down our country and rebuild it into something different, like, that's a whole other story. And then on top of that, this is also a bold claim coming from her. The thing you got to keep in the back of your mind is she seems to think she's like an expert on America and American history and the way our systems work, when she's clearly not. I mean, not only is she not born here, she just hasn't been here long enough. I don't think she's familiar enough with what's going on with all the systems. I think she just lived in Minnesota for most of her life here. I don't know. Minnesota and Minneapolis, those are fine places, don't get me wrong, but it's hardly gonna show you what the whole country is about. Like, if she thinks everything's racist, like, I don't know, maybe things were racist where she lived. I'm not trying to totally doubt that. I do doubt that. I don't think America's that racist or oppressive or evil. If it was, we wouldn't be letting in lots of people from other countries, and we wouldn't be giving them opportunities and letting them speak about us. I mean, if we were in a real unfair country, we'd be somewhere in Asia, like the Middle Kingdom, where they would arrest someone for talking about the country like this. But no, here we have freedom, we have rights. So even though Ilhan Omar is totally wrong and knows nothing about what she's talking, but she does have a right to say it. So let's let her speak and talk about how dumb it is more.
So we cannot stop at criminal justice system. We must begin the work of dismantling the whole system of oppression wherever we find it.
Okay, dismantling the whole system. So we're getting into the current events. She says we don't want to just dismantle the criminal justice system. This is an attack on the police and talking about defunding the police, removing cops. Like, they're very anti-cop because of all this race baiting that they started. So they hate the cops. And then the next step, it's not just the criminal justice system. They want to go after the whole government. The whole system is flawed to them. And I'm just not seeing it. Like, I don't get it. Like, they say it's oppressive and racist, but I'm not hearing any examples. I'm not seeing any kind of proof. I'm not hearing any kind of argument either. It's just kind of like an assertion. She says, everyone's racist. This country is oppressive, and we need to just tear it down. And that's not a really unfair summary of what she's saying here. She's basically wanting to do that without any proof, without any show of evidence. In fact, she's actually proof to the contrary. Like, if we were very racist, we wouldn't have these foreign born other races becoming our politicians. Like, there would be a rule against that. Like, doesn't she understand what she's implying? I mean, if this country was racist, she wouldn't not only not be here, she wouldn't have any of these freedoms, and she certainly wouldn't be holding an elected office. So I'm just like blowing my mind here. I can't even comprehend. I can't even wrap my head around this. I know she has her head wrapped in something right now, but my head is wrapped with her words that just don't make sense. I mean, I've got it all over me. Like, I feel like I've got a whole hijab worth of her confusing me all over.
And so with that, I will have Senator Jeff Hayden say a few words. I mean, compromise has brought us here. Compromise has brought the kind of oppressive system that allows for someone like George Floyd to get the life stifled out of him for 8 minutes and 46 seconds.
Okay, she's bringing up George Floyd. That's the guy who died in Minneapolis. But that was just an arrest gone wrong. A couple of cops made some mistakes. They're getting tried and probably going to jail for a long time. Lots of punishment is going to be served there. But I don't see how that translates to the whole system. Like, how do you exaggerate that all the way to the whole country? I mean, maybe you could say there's a lot of bad cops in Minneapolis. Like, if that's standard for their practices, like, let's look into their police in the area, like in that precinct. I don't think that's true. I think we're just talking about a couple of bad guys, like possibly, like they're still investigating who is involved with what. But I mean, how does that translate to the whole country? Like, you've got a lot of leaps of logic there. You got to go first. They want to blame all the cops. That's the next step. We're skipping a lot of steps here. Ilhan, you got to keep up. Okay. Ilhan has a lot of assumptions and a lot of bad information in her head. So it's kind of hard to follow. You know, it's like you got to be in her head and thinking all these bad things put together like a string of things. And that's what we're going through. Basically, this guy got killed because he resisted arrest. He was on all these drugs. He had the virus in him still. He had all kinds of issues. And then the cop, he was obviously over the top with the way he arrested him. But to expand that to all the cops in the world, like, it doesn't make sense. Like I said, maybe you could expand that to the cops in his area, in his district, maybe the whole state, if the whole state had these kinds of bad training and let in all these bad guys. But to go to every state is a whole other step. And then we're not even to where Ilhan is. Ilhan is also going, okay, now we're banned all the cops. Now let's get rid of the whole government. Let's turn this whole place. This capitalism has to go. Let's get rid of democracy. Let's make this place a total socialist empire run by Bernie Sanders. Like, they would be happy with that. But it's like I said, there's just so many lines of false logic there, false assumptions, misunderstandings. It just shows, like I was saying, she doesn't understand how this country works. She doesn't know how policing and criminals and, you know, crime rates and arrests, and she doesn't understand how the government works, like the politics, how the processes are, elections, fairness, democracy. This all goes into our history too. She doesn't know American history. Now, I'm not trying to just sit here and say she's dumb, but I mean, I'm just saying she doesn't know what she's talking about, and it's just obvious, and it's not really that surprising since, you know, she hasn't been here her whole life. She's not from here. It's not like they were teaching her about American politics back in Africa. Like, she wasn't learning about it in the country she's from. It's like Mogadishu or something like that. I don't know. She's from like East Africa, and, you know, she came here and then now she wants to act like she knows everything about America and like all of our country's history and how everything works. And then on top of that, she doesn't just want to claim to know it, because that's what you need to know first. Then she says she wants to dismantle it.
So what the question should be that you should ask the Senate Republicans and even our Senate counterpart in Congress is to say, how come you are not negotiating with them? How come you are not listening to the voices that have been marginalized for decades and centuries in this country?
Again, the voices that are marginalized. How can she say that when she is a minority from another country and she's got like the biggest microphone in the world? Everyone is listening to what her voice says, and somehow she's marginalized. and then we have to listen to all these other people that are marginalized. Like, I don't even know what marginalized means. Like, that to me sounds like someone wants to make fake butter. Sounds like she wants some margarine. And I mean, that's fine if that's how you want to put on your toast. If that's your topping of choice, I prefer real butter. But if you guys like things marginalized, go ahead. But the point is, it's again, like I'm saying, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse on this point, but she said throughout our history, through hundreds of years, like she acts like she knows everything about America and everything about our history, but she clearly doesn't. And to me, like as an actual American, a family who's been here since before we created this country, like I've been here for all my life, and my family's been here ever since there were immigrants and settlers in the Americas. So the fact that someone like this comes in, like whatever, she came in like 10, 20 years ago or something, and acts like she owns the place. She's like, oh, this is it. I got this. You guys suck. This is all terrible. Everything sucks here. Let's just tear it all down. It's just so funny to me. It's so hypocritical and like ungrateful. Like she moved here and she's just like, oh yeah, let's tear it down, tear this down. It's like, she's like I don't know. She's just the worst kind of person. She thinks she's so smart. Like she knows all this stuff, but she doesn't. Like marginalized voices is just made up buzzwords.
How come you are not listening to the cries of the mothers and the fathers in our communities? How come you are not listening to the people who are telling you that we don't feel like our lives matter equally in this country?
Well, I'm listening, and here's what I'm going to say. If you don't feel like your life matters, that's not my fault. Okay, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but I did not have anything to do with it. I did not raise you. I did not teach you to think this. I don't think you should think this. Obviously, your life matters like everyone else's life matters. No one is saying your life doesn't matter. So if they are, like, who's telling you that? Who told you your life doesn't matter? Because I would guess it was one of your family members, like probably your parents or someone like close to you brought you up to think that. Someone told you that and they lied. So that's the problem, is someone else told you your life doesn't matter and you're believing it, and then you're blaming me. And you're blaming all of us. You're blaming America. And I'm like, dude, we're America. We came in. We took care of you. We let you move in here. You got your own place. You got a sweet job in the government. Like, we hooked you up. And then now you're saying we don't think your life matters because you don't think your life matters or whatever. It's like, dude, that's on you, Ilhan. I'm sorry that you feel this way, but it's really on you. Like, get some confidence, get some kind of more education, like learn about America and about the laws and the way things actually work. It'll help you have peace of mind if you actually can realize that we're not racist. Like, let go of this whole anger. I don't know why you come over here hating on us, but we're not your enemy. We're friends. We're friendlies. You know, no friendly fire here. I honestly would let everything go. Like, I know you and AOC and a lot of these corrupt Democratic female congresswomen, minorities, like, I know you hate us and you probably will never change. But if you did, if you came around, honestly, I would let it go. Like, I'm not going to hold a grudge. I'm not going to forget. Of course, I might still laugh at a few things you said, like the stuff about marginalizing things and like turning things into butter and all that. Like, that's hilarious. But fact of the matter is, if you don't think your life matters, you need to fix yourself and learn that it does. That about wraps things up. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Last thing I'll say before we go is Ilhan has another side story where she got caught spending over $800,000 at her new husband's consulting firm. Now, this is interesting to point out because she got this guy while he was still married. They both cheated on their former spouses. This guy had a whole family and everything, and she broke that family up and got this guy. He was like her campaign manager, and now they're remarried to each other, and they're also giving each other money, like secretly, like she's using her campaign funds to pay for her husband's consulting firm, which is just basically giving herself money. It's her family, like she's married now to him. So it's a very interesting, corrupt thing, and not surprising coming from someone like Ilhan Omar. So that wraps things up. Make sure you guys comment your thoughts and everything below. Tell me what you think about this story, and have a great day. But also remember, have a like on the video. Hit that like-a-rooski, and we'll have some fun on the next one. Until next time, have a good day.